Number the botanist's refuge. The silence at the dinner table was thicker than the tension. My father's fork scraped against his plate with deliberate slowness, each sound a tiny hammer strike against my confidence. "So this forensic botany," he began, not looking up from his food. "What exactly is that? Playing with flowers while pretending to be a scientist?" My Aunt Linda's laugh was sharp, like broken glass. "Honestly, I still don't understand why you threw away your medical school acceptance. That was our hope, Alex. Now you're digging through dirt like some common gardener." My mother's eyes met mine across the table, apologetic but helpless. "Your brother's a surgeon, your cousin's a cardiologist," my father continued, finally putting down his fork. "Can't you just do something respectable?" That was the moment I realized my family didn't just doubt me. They actively wished I'd abandon what they called my ridiculous fantasy. They weren't offering honest concern. They were delivering a death sentence on my dreams. And I knew, with painful clarity, that staying would mean dying a little more every day. 2 weeks later, I packed my car with everything I owned: a microscope collection, boxes of botanical reference texts, and a resolve forged in the fires of their ridicule. I drove west, toward a state university with a botany department that, while not prestigious, was at least open-minded. The first year was brutal, living on ramen and research grants, working 16-hour days in labs that smelled of decay and soil. My professors called my work admirably naive but ultimately pointless. But I knew better. Plants don't lie. Every leaf, every root, every seed tells a story if you know how to read it. When holidays came, my family sent cards with pictures of their perfect lives. No mention of me, of course. "When are you coming home and getting a real job?" my father would ask during our rare calls, his voice heavy with disappointment. The breakthrough came 5 years later with a cold case that had baffled detectives for decades. A hiker's body had been discovered in a remote forest, but all evidence had degraded. When I was brought in as a consultant, I noticed something others had missed: a rare species of orchid growing only in specific soil conditions. By analyzing the soil composition and the orchid's growth patterns, I determined the exact location where the body had been moved from. It was the first time botanical evidence had solved a major murder case. Suddenly, my pseudoscience was on the front page of every major newspaper. My research funding multiplied, and I was hired to consult with federal agencies. I developed new methods for using plant DNA to trace suspects, pollen analysis to determine time of death, and even the chemical composition of soil to link evidence to crime scenes. The world that once mocked me now sought my expertise. My work didn't just solve crimes, it helped restore ecosystems, turning industrial wastelands into thriving habitats that served both nature and justice. I was no longer just Alex, the embarrassment. I was Dr. Alex Chen, pioneer of forensic botany. When I returned home for my niece's graduation, I drove up in an electric vehicle, a statement of my commitment to the environment I now studied. My family gathered in the driveway, their expressions ranging from surprise to confusion. My father squinted at my car. "Electric. That's not very practical for long trips." My Uncle Mark clapped me on the back a little too hard. "So, still playing with plants, huh?" I smiled. "Something like that." I invited them to tour the urban rewilding project I'd spearheaded in the city's abandoned industrial district. What they found took their breath away. Where there had been concrete and decay, there was now a thriving ecosystem: ponds teeming with life, meadows of wildflowers, and forests where children played. At the heart of it all was a forensic botanical laboratory that had helped solve dozens of cases, clean contaminated soil, and revitalize the community. My mother gasped, "Alex, this